Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share my unboxing and first look at the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip. This phone retails for a little under $1,400 US, and I am unboxing the unlocked version in the black color. Before I get it out of the box, let's go over specifications. This phone has a 6.7-inch folding OLED display, 1080 by 2636 res. We have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 Plus CPU under the hood, which is very competent to say the least. We have 8 gigs of RAM, 3300 milliamp hour battery supporting all of this, 256 gigs of storage. We have two 12 megapixel cameras on the back, or really the front of the device, which you'll see in a moment. And then we have a 10 megapixel selfie camera on the interior of the device. Of course, 4K video capture is supported on this. And while it doesn't have all of the cameras, the bells and whistles of the brand new S20 line, this is, in my opinion, the most compelling folding phone at its price presently. So without further ado, let's get this thing out of the box. I know I didn't go over all the radios. The most important thing that you should know is that the Galaxy Z Flip does not support 5G. And that's part of the reason that it's coming in at the lowest cost of any folding phone, especially from a major manufacturer like Samsung. So the box is fairly straightforward, not a lot to see. Samsung Z Flip on the side, the Z logo with a little bit of pattern in the center, which I believe is the box on the interior. Let's get this thing open. And I'm excited about this. Just arrived today. Did launch in the second week of February 2020. So unfortunately, I did not get it as soon as it came out, but it's here now. And this, again, in my opinion, looks to be the winner if you must have a clamshell style folding device in 2020, or period, the end. And over here, I do have the Motorola Razr that I have been using essentially since it got here. So the first thing we're greeted with, and you've probably seen this if you've already seen some unboxings, the future changed shape, meet your Galaxy Z Flip. And they're just giving you a quick rundown of how revolutionary this device is, and quite frankly it is, because much like the Fold that I reviewed last year, the end of last year, this I think is more practical, the Fold being the more robust model, all the bells and whistles, more storage. Still at the lower price here, because the Fold is $1,930. You are getting a lighter, I think, more desirable device for the mainstream user, because this is not, this is really, I think, a better application for the majority of people. It makes a large screen display device like this smaller. So instead of having to carry around my Note 10 Plus, or you might have an S10 Plus or an S10 Note 10, or even be looking at the brand new S20 line or the Ultra, especially in the Plus variety, something similar, but it's 6.5, a little under 6.5 ounces. So care instructions right here on this display, basically reiterating what we went through with the Fold, that you do not want to press on this display. Now, even though Samsung has said this is a glass substrate, some sort of thin glass that will be on this display, I, like many of you, should exercise caution and treat it as if it were plastic, because as much as it might feel like glass, the teardowns, I mean, there's been a lot of controversy over this, so I'm going to treat it the same way. No fingernails. You want to keep magnets away from this. This is not water resistant in any way, shape, or form. So dust, magnets, moisture, treat this thing with kid gloves. This is your baby for all intents and purposes, not just because it's expensive, but because you don't want it to die. I've got some fuzz on my hands. Let's go ahead and get this thing unwrapped. You've been looking at a static image here long enough. And I can already tell you that unlike the Motorola Razr, which is a nice device, this feels much better in the hand already, because we've got a metal and glass construction. The engineering, everything just looks better. First glance, no comparison in my mind, unless you absolutely must have the Razr experience. Let's just see what the Fold is like. Very nice. So already, kudos to Samsung. This thing is gorgeous. I think they've really outdone themselves. I mean, the Galaxy Fold, I was incredibly impressed with, and I still really loved that device. Couldn't justify it between its price point and capability when compared to my Note 10 Plus and Galaxy Tab S6 combo. But now they've got my attention, because this is the type of device that does make sense. The key being that I just mentioned the whole appeal of the Fold was to replace my phone and tablet. You noticed I said my tablet and phone, it does not outperform. But here, if I'm just going to talk about my phone, yes, it doesn't have an S Pen, but this may very well outperform my phone. It does have less RAM, 8 to the 12 in my Note 10 Plus, but I'm getting a phone that's half the size with almost the exact size screen real estate, but lower resolution. The Note 10 Plus does have a 3000 by 1440, somewhere around that res, where I just told you this is under 3K, so it doesn't approach that, and it's 6.7 as opposed to 6.8, but I'm really liking what I see here already. So buttons along the side, I will go through the rest of the box, I promise. You got a fingerprint scanner right here, volume rocker, I believe that's your SIM tray right there. I see the ejection hole, microphone port, cameras on the back. These are the two 12 megapixel wide angle and ultra wide angle. Our tiny 1.1 inch OLED display, USB Type-C port here at the bottom, microphone, speaker, and I think that rounds things out. That is pretty much it. The fingerprint scanner is also the power button, our selfie 10 megapixel camera, the pinhole up at the top. This thing is beautiful. I have to say, Samsung has outdone themselves. This makes the Motorola Razr look like it belongs in the recycling bin. Let's dump out the rest of the accessories. And while this is expensive, and again, I think it's a little more compelling than the Fold, because the Fold is what I would want as a power user, okay? I mentioned I don't see this in the same way that I do the Fold, because the Fold is trying to give me a tablet and a phone in one. This, on the other hand, as I stated, if I'm going to put it side by side right now with my Note 10 Plus, which I have here, I'm grabbing it right now, you will instantly see that these are very similar in terms of size. Very similar. But, of course, the big difference being that if I want to fold this phone up, I can. If I want to fold this, I can't. They're very similar in terms of thickness. Yes, I do have a case on this, but you see where I'm going here. This is just to have the ability to fold this up. It's a difference maker. Now, it's not for everybody. This is not for everyone. I don't expect everyone to go gaga over something like this. It's very expensive. The fingerprint laden Razr right next to it, very similar specs, but not on the inside. I say similar in that similar in terms of what it delivers with, having a display, all of that jazz that folds. I don't like the folding mechanism on this that much. Mostly plastic build on this phone. We have Gorilla Glass 6 on the entire exterior of this, which is both a gift and a curse. Fingerprint magnets, both of them are, but the design on this is just incredibly clean. This is like a concept phone comes to reality. This is like a concept phone that probably never should have been released. And the internals on the Razr are just inferior in every way. Storage, processor, RAM, cameras. So this is less expensive. I think you get the point. Unless you must have a Razr, you probably should be considering this. But I will have to, run this through everything. I'm not going to do that right now. That'll be saved for the update. But I can already tell you this thing looks fantastic. The audio sounds decent. It doesn't sound like it's as good as my Note 10 Plus. Based on hearing the Bixby voice they've got running. But I have a feeling that this phone, I don't want to tell you right now it's going to be my next device, but the fiance wanted it. I don't know. Because the Galaxy Fold was a little untenable. I really liked it. It was cutting edge, but the practicality size form factor of it was a bit of an issue. It was a little bulky. The only thing I will tell you about this phone that bothers me a little bit is that tiny display, which you can see right now has the wrong time, wrong date, wrong everything. That bothers me. I do feel like Samsung could have learned from the Fold in terms of integrating a larger on-screen display. That was everyone and their mother said, oh, the Fold's too grand and it has a tiny screen on the front. Well, they were like, you thought that was small? Boom! We're giving you an even smaller display, so eat that. I don't think that was really smart, but I got to say, this is hotness. I really don't know how you can't think this is hotness, and as soon as I give it to my fiance, she's not going to want to give it back to me. So I got to be careful with that. There is a Type-C to to native Type-C adapter in there. We have a Type A to Type-C cable for charging, headphone jack, or excuse me, not headphone jack, the actual headphones, AKG. Be nice if they threw in Galaxy Buds, but if you can afford this, they don't need to throw in anything. That's why trade-in values suck. The tips, adjust your ears as you need, and of course your wall charger. Wireless charging on board and power share, all that good stuff. Latest Bluetooth. I mean, everything. This is a killer handset, it looks like. Let me get it rolling and see how quickly I got to send back this thing. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Oh, one other thing. Don't forget, unlike the Razr, of course, we have the ability to seat this thing. That is just fucking awesome. And you can take images with that. You can leave it on your desk. I mean, that's just another thing that is really cool. And it does make use of both displays, even though it is one. And I really don't have a major problem with this crease. I mean, it's there. It's something you'll have to live with in order to have the coolest phone, at least other than the Galaxy Fold that exists right now. So I did end up taking a minute to set it up. I wanted to share it with all of you, even though this is the unboxing. I know I generally save that for an update, but I have to say what I've seen so far in terms of performance, the speaker performance, media playback, it all just looks good, folks. And I'm not surprised because this has a competent processor. This has pretty much everything you would find in a flagship phone, but it folds. And you can see we're getting some updates right now on Super Tuesday, and the phone just does exactly what I expect. Speaker performance was close to my Note 10 Plus, not quite as good, but the fact that it's even there is impressive. It did heat up a little bit as it was pulling in updates for my Google account, but I guess that's to be expected. About 60% left on the charge here. It is eating up fingerprints, but again, with that, Gorilla Glass 6 all over the back, the black finish, I expected that. And the crease, as I mentioned, it's visible, but compared to the Razr, you only feel it when you interact with it here, and it's really negligible at best. I do not seeing this being a hindrance in any way. It does not take away from the device. Fit and finish is excellent. The other thing I wanted to share, besides that quick update, was the other piece of the packaging. So our SIM ejector tool. And then Samsung does include, I went the wrong way on that, didn't I? A case for this phone as well. And this isn't the best case on the market, that's for sure. They give you some instructions for snapping it on. It's fairly straightforward. And basically, as you can see, they're just showing you that they want you to peel off the plastic insert and pop it on. And it just protects each side. So, I mean, for me, this is something, and I didn't go to peel off any plastic. I could do that right now. This is so that you maintain the finish, I'm assuming. Not exactly 100% on that, but what you're looking at here is just protection at the most minimal level. This is not going to give you the sort of protection that, you would be looking for to really guard this. The case that Samsung makes, I believe, retails for $80 US, and if I end up keeping this, you better believe that case will be on board. But this clear case that they include is nice in that it does maintain the finish of the phone. It doesn't detract in any way. It's just a routine condom. But it doesn't protect, of course, the actual spine of the phone anyway. But that's pretty much it. So again, there you have it. The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.